Let's talk about a place that's almost like another planet, right here on Earth. It's a continent nearly twice the size of Australia, completely buried in ice. It's the coldest, driest, and highest place we have. We're talking about Antarctica, of course. And it makes you wonder, could we actually live there?
So really, is it possible? Could we build a home in what is, without a doubt, the harshest environment on the planet? Before we get to the answer, you first have to wrap your head around just how hostile this place truly is.
I mean, just look at that number. We're talking about temperatures that can plunge down to minus 80 degrees Celsius. That is so unbelievably cold that steel can actually shatter like glass. In conditions like these, survival isn't about days or hours. It's about minutes.
Okay, so to even start to figure out if humans can live here, we gotta get the lay of the land. So let's cover the basics of this massive frozen world.
So you've got this huge continent sitting right at the South Pole, almost completely covered by a massive sheet of ice. But here's the thing, it's not just cold, it's also the windiest and the driest continent, which technically makes it the world's largest desert. And maybe the most fascinating part, no single country owns it. Thanks to the Antarctic Treaty, it's set aside purely for peace and science.
And that brings us to a really critical point. Because of these insane conditions and those international agreements, there are no native Antarcticans. Think about that. No one is born there, and nobody calls it their permanent home.
But just because no one lives there forever, that doesn't mean the place is totally empty. Not at all. In fact, a small, very dedicated group of people make it their temporary home every single year.
And you can see here just how much that population changes with the seasons. In the summer, when the sun is out 24/7, the population swells to around 4,000 people. But when the brutal winter hits and the continent is plunged into months of total darkness, only about 1,000 of the hardiest people stick around.
So who are these folks braving the elements? Well, they aren't tourists, and they aren't settlers trying to build a new life. The vast majority of people in Antarctica are scientists, researchers, and the support staff who keep everything running. They are there on a mission.
They live and work in these incredible, high-tech research stations. This is where they do groundbreaking work, like drilling into ancient ice to study our planet's climate history, observing unique animals, and even getting ready for space exploration. I mean, Antarctica's environment is so extreme and isolated, it's one of the best places on Earth to simulate a mission to Mars.
All right, so we know who's there and what they're doing. But the big question is, how in the world do they actually survive? Let's break down the unbelievable challenges of just living day to day.
You know, life down there is a constant battle. The cold is obviously a huge factor, but beyond that, everything we take for granted is just gone. All the food has to be shipped or flown in from thousands of miles away. Why? Because there are no farms. There are no cities, no permanent houses to go home to. Just stepping outside requires layers and layers of special gear to stop you from getting life-threatening frostbite in a matter of minutes.
And then there's the darkness. For several months straight during the winter, the sun never, ever rises above the horizon. Just try to imagine living in complete 24-hour blackness for a third of the year. The psychological challenge of that long polar night is one of the toughest things for the people who stay.
So with all of these absolutely insane challenges, you have to wonder, what does the future look like? Could technology ever get so good that we could build a real, permanent city on the ice?
Well, this is where you have the dream, and then you have the reality. The dream says that with advanced enough tech, self-sustaining habitats, new ways to grow food, better energy sources, a permanent human settlement could be possible. But the reality is that the cost would be astronomical, and the logistics are almost impossible to imagine.
But, at the end of the day, the biggest barrier isn't the technology or the money. It's a global agreement. This quote really says it all. The world has decided that Antarctica is a place for science and for nature. The main thing stopping us from settling there is a shared belief that we probably shouldn't.
Which brings us all the way back to our original question. After looking at this incredible environment, the people who go there, and the huge challenges they face, what's the final verdict?
And the answer is yes, but, and this is a really big but, only for a short time. Humans absolutely can and do live in Antarctica every single day. But it's temporary, it's focused on a specific mission, and it requires a massive support system from the outside world. For now, it's a place we visit, not a place we call home.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know everything, the brutal cold, the endless dark, the total isolation, but also the incredible science and the breathtaking beauty, would you do it? Could you spend one full year on the frozen continent?